Welcome, everybody. We'll get started. If I haven't met you before, my name is Ellen Saliares. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am, for the next couple weeks, the current president of the Minnesota Public Health Association. We're so glad that you're here with us for our business meeting and our award ceremony. We have the usual Zoom meeting reminders. We'll ask folks to mute if you're not talking. Feel free to have your camera on or off. If you would like to rename yourself to include your pronouns, we welcome that. And feel free to put questions and comments in the chat. Our plan for today, we're going to cover our business in 30 minutes. And then I'm going to pass it over to Cherylee, who is going to do us the great honors of introducing and managing our whole award ceremony, which, no offense to myself, is the most exciting part. I like it more than the business meeting, but we will get started. So first, as always, we're going to start with our ancestral land statement, which is also available on our website. We ask that you take a moment to honor and acknowledge that we are on the ancestral homelands of the Dakota and Anishinaabe. Indigenous people have a longstanding history and connection to the land since time immemorial and are the original stewards of lands and waters. Many American Indians were forcibly exiled from their lands because of aggressive and persistent settler colonialism and United States governmental policies, but they persevered. We make this acknowledgement to honor the Dakota and Anishinaabe people, ancestors and descendants, as well as the land itself. So we're going to start off by going through our governing board, the folks that will be our new folks. We'll have a financial summary from Jessica Waterrood, our treasurer, and then we'll do some organizational highlights. So I have to give my deep gratitude and appreciation for all of the folks departing from the governing council. And if you know any of them, or if you want to share any thoughts or memories or good wishes, please do. First, Elizabeth Moe has been our past president, and we are so grateful for her leadership, and I'm sure she will help me as I move into that role. Summer Robbins has been our secretary. Jessica Waterrood, who you'll meet soon, has been our treasurer. Tyler Pyle was a member at large as well as a co-chair of our annual conference. Marvelous Ogunsola has been a student representative. Sarah Hildreth, also a student representative. And then we also have had some folks stepping off from committee co-chair duties that we also want to recognize. Delaney Anderson and Chloe Wallace have been membership in communications committee co-chairs. And Melanie Peterson-Hickey has been a longstanding co-chair of the Health Equity Committee. Please give them some applause, some reactions, some comments in the chat, because we really couldn't have done everything that we've done this past year without everyone's involvement. So we have, with this change of seasons for MPHA, our newly elected governing council members. Thank you so much to everybody who participated in the election. It was really exciting to have so many people be nominated or nominate themselves. Kristen Moore will be our president-elect. You may have known Kristen. She's been involved with MPHA for a while. Our secretary will be Teresa Host. Treasurer will be Cherylee. We have a member at large, Jakissa Thompson. And we have an affiliate representative to APHA, Annie Holland. We are really excited for you all to either move into new roles in the governing council or to be joining the governing council for the first time. We have a lot of exciting work ahead of us. Here has been, or here will be, our governing council for 2023 and 2024. First, I'll be passing off the president torch to Antonia Apolinario Wilcoxon. Antonia, do you want to say anything or introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for your vote of confidence and trust in my competence to fill some big shoes. Ellen, Liz Mo, these have all been incredible models as I have participated in other committees of MPHA. I look forward to spending more time with everyone, getting to know and to learn and grow in my new position. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for this, and I take it with great humility. It's a privilege. Thank you.
It's a privilege to have you as president too, Antonia. I don't think Kristen's here. Trista, do you want to introduce yourself or say hi?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Teresa Host, pronouns she, hers. I am currently a research professional 3 at the University of Minnesota Medical School, and I also am a program associate for a large NIMHD-funded P50 center grant called the Center for Chronic Disease Reduction and Equity Promotion Across Minnesota, or C2 DREAM. My background expertise kind of encompasses a range of research coordination, program, project management, community engagement, and healthcare policy. And I am honored to contribute my skills and expertise, and really excited to contribute to MPHA's mission. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Cherylee, I know you're running the show later. Do you want to say hi now? Or do you want to wait for later?
So again, thank you for entrusting this position with me. I've been treasurer for other associations and nonprofits. Have been an executive director of a community clinic. So I do have some experience. So I'm just looking forward to working closer with Mary and team. Thank you.
Thank you. Kristen Moore, are you here? I've been trying to like search for people in the chat.
Yeah.
If you're here, do you want to say hi?
Yeah, of course. Thanks,
Thank you.
Alex.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Moore. I am actually in the office today, which is why I'm late, because it takes time to walk places. What do you know? But I'm so excited to take on this new position within MPHA. It was actually my first public health job as an intern, a student intern. So I'm excited to see how I can continue to give to the organization. Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you. Annie, do you want to introduce yourself or say hi?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Annie Holland. I am County Tribal and Public Health Manager at UCare. So I handle relationships with counties and tribes around mostly public health and human services as well. And I have been involved with MPHA. I've taken just a little break recently, but have previously co-chaired the Policy and Advocacy Committee for many years, and so was on the board in that capacity. So I'm very excited to represent MPHA as an affiliate representative to APHA, and it's quite an honor. So thank you for entrusting me with that.
Thank you. Again, I'm searching through the participants, so if I skip someone, let me know. Blue, it looks like you're here. Do you want to say hi or introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Toloi Law. I'm faculty at Northwestern Health Sciences University in Bloomington, Minnesota, and just honored to be serving with this exemplary group of public health fans. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I'm going to be, well, I'm going to say, I'm going to apologize in advance if I'm not saying your name correctly. Jakessa, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, it's Jakisa.
Thank you. I got you.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Jakisa. I am super excited to be here. I haven't worked with MPHA before, but am excited to start. I currently work at United Healthcare in their long-term services and supports utilization management. I kind of function as like a program manager. I'm also an adjunct faculty for Herzing University, teaching BSN students. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit about me. So I'm excited just to get started. So thank you.
Thank you. We're so glad that you're with us. We will have 2 student representatives joining us this fall. All right. Our co-chairs. We've met Kristen. There will be an opportunity to be an annual conference co-chair, which is super fun. Mary, our executive director, and I work on development. Do you want to introduce yourself, Mary?
Oh, excuse me. Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Grand. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm thrilled to meet the incoming governing council members. So can't wait to get started working with you, and thank you for joining MPHA in this leadership role.
Awesome. Austin, do you want to introduce yourself? Austin is one of the co-chairs of our Health Equity Committee.
Hi folks. My name is Austin Wu, pronouns are he and him, and I am one of the co-chairs with the Health Equity Committee along with Erica and Jaime.
Yes. Erica, do you want to say hi and introduce yourself?
Erica Fishman, I'm one of the other co-chairs, and I'll be talking more in a little bit about our committee work.
Awesome. Jaime.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Martinez. I'm a co-chair of the Health Equity Committee of MPHA with Erica and Austin. And I was previously with Clearway, Minnesota for many years. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna, with our history committee, do you want to say hi?
I'm Donna Anderson, and I am a history committee chair looking for a co-chair. So if anyone that you know of yourself or another member who's interested in MPHA history and archival work would welcome them joining the effort. No organizational work on the archives, but it's basically to make the archives and the history information come alive to our members.
I'd love to join you, Donna.
Antonia Uvala.
And who's that? I'm sorry.
That was Antonia.
Okay, wonderful.
Mary and I have talked about it, and I need to learn more about it. I love history and learning more about the organization I'm coming on as president.
Well,
of course, I am available to help anywhere I can, but I'd be interested in working with you, Donna. I need your telephone number when you have a chance to put in the chat box.
I will be
Thanks.
happy to pass it along. Just to let everyone know, if you don't already know, MPHA has deep roots, goes back to 1907, I believe. So somebody else can do the math, how many years that is. But we have a long and interesting history over the years. But the good news is that the organization, while it's had up and downs, we stay together, and we're a very strong voice for advocacy and public health in Minnesota.
Thank you. And that is a very nice transition to Matt. Would you like to introduce yourself as one of the co-chairs of Policy and Advocacy Committee?
Hi, my name is Matt Flory, and I am the co-chair of the Policy and the Advocacy Committee. Is there anything else you wanted?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Awesome. I don't think Natalie's here or Angie. As you can see, we do have some opportunities for folks to move into leadership roles with various committees. And I will say, MPHA, come with what you got and what you want to know, and there is space for you. No committee leadership, previous experience required. And I also just want to again acknowledge Mary Grand as our executive director, who does a tremendous amount of work with us all. Chris Esperson is the coordinator for our racial health equity work. And then we also have Pragya as our Health Equity Committee and Policy and Advocacy coach. Not co-chair, intern. All right. All right, Jessica, would you give us a little financial snapshot, please?
Yes. So you can see that our bank account is continuing to be healthy. We have almost $210,000 in our accounts. And if you're wondering, this very good question came up just last week of why we have so much in savings versus checking. And that is because there is some interest that you can gain when money's in savings, not so much in checking. If anybody wants to see specific financials, those are available upon request. And we continue working to find the best solution to assist us with our financials, while also being fiscally responsible, because of course, getting outside help is very expensive. But Mary has been a huge help in all things financial the last couple of years that I've been treasurer. So a big thank you to her. And you can see that within the last year, our net revenue was about $21,000. And then I also want to, before I leave, give a big thank you also to Cherylee for coming into the treasurer position.
Thank you. We're going to move into our highlights. If I can get my screen. All right. I know some folks on here attended our policy forums, which are an annual event that we hold. I think this year's theme, safety is no accident, public health approaches to injury prevention, was really encompassing a broad range of issues that we all experience every day. I want to again extend a thank you to all the folks that moderated those forums and encourage people to watch those recordings if you missed them and you're interested. And, you know, the folks that have been managing and planning all these committees have been doing it for a really long time. And I think that really speaks to like commitment to bringing people together, you know, professional development, community building. And so thank you so much to everybody who has planned those events. Our policy and advocacy committee, Matt, you can chime in if you would like, welcomed a new co-chair, Natalie Schmidt, a few months ago, and she has been an excellent addition to that committee. It's been a very busy legislative session, if you did not know. And MPHA has had the support and guidance from our members to advocate and be engaged in a number of topics, including the ones that you can see here. And you can also see when our policy and advocacy committee meets. Do you want to add anything, Matt?
Oh, just to say, really appreciate everybody's support as we're kind of transitioning from previous co-chairs that had a lot of tenure to, I call myself the bridge co-chair. I think Natalie will be a fantastic chair going forward, but it's tough to follow Laura and Annie.
Yeah.
I think it's also easy to take a lot of credit for Democrats having three levers of government. I mean, there's very few progressive policies that didn't pass this year, but I am really proud with how the committee is getting more engaged. Our regular attendance is somewhere around 10 members. We got up to 20 or 2 or 3 times during session. There's a lot of lively debate and in particular, I think really leaned in some visible ways on community health workers. And I think immunization and housing are 2 policy areas that I'll see some more development next year, as well as the voting issue. I guess I should have brought that up. So voting access was something that we got a lot of support from Health Equity on, but really appreciate everybody's support and patience as we go through this transition time.
Thank you, Matt. All right, membership and communications. Both Delaney and Chloe, as was noted in the previous slide, are moving on. And so we do have 2 openings. A couple of things that they wanted to highlight was the work that they've done, kind of shining a light on some local public health organizations in the series. There's been a lot of events, actually, just so many events, coffee chats, trivia, networking, National Public Health Week, and a lot of work with the annual conference as well. You may have seen that we created a campaign on Bonfire. We're selling MPHA logo shirts and conference shirts. And there also was a lot of behind the scenes work, you know, keeping our website up and running and updated, reorganizing all of the data management of MPHA, which is not the most glamorous thing, but it is very necessary and appreciated. Health equity. Erica, I think you wanted to share, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
So while Melanie Peterson-Hickey has stepped down as her role as co-chair, we thank her for all the work she does. She continues to be active working in the committee and other aspects of MPHA, and we appreciate that. And Austin's been a great addition to our team as co-chair with us. This year, we were active, again, on a number of different areas. We had a lot of presentations from health equity leaders that helped us create a shared understanding of important equity topics. One of the major things we did was work on a voting and health initiative. We developed a web page where you can go and find many resources related to this. We initiated a collaborative on voting and health with the Healthy Democracy, Healthy People National Organization, Minnesota SOPHI, MPHA Policy and Advocacy Committee, and worked with the We Choose Us campaign in Minnesota. We developed a policy statement, policy resolution on voting and health, and we were one of the major contributors to an APHA policy resolution that passed last year too. We also had an event on civic engagement and voting. Your health depends on it, in partnership with Minnesota SOPHI and Healthy Democracy, Healthy People also participated in that, and we presented at the MPHA conference. So we're going to continue this work, meeting monthly as a group, as we this work is never done on voting and health and supporting that. We also developed some policy statements in collaboration with others in MPHA. There was, so these aren't resolutions, these are these statements, and you can find them on our website. We did one on the January 6th, 2021 insurrection. We wrote a letter of support and comment to the Healthy People 2030 to include voter participation. And we did a statement on the Indian Child Welfare Act. We also completed the Leadership Institute that was part of the Blue Cross Blue Shield funded initiative, and Morgan Mulhern presented at that at APHA last year. Our committee convenes monthly on the third Thursday, which is tomorrow night, and we're having special guests tomorrow night, Migdalia Loyola Melendez and Dr. Stephanie Barrage from the governor's office is going to be joining us. So we encourage you to, if you haven't already, to register for our meeting tomorrow night. Thanks.
Thank you, Erica. All right, our annual conference. I don't know if Tyler's here, but do you want to comment about the conference at all, Antonia?
Yes, I'd be happy to. We went to the Northwest region of the state, to Moorhead, to hold our conference. The topic was Becoming Better Ancestors Through History, Hope, and Action, something Tyler and I had learned at the APHA conference in November. And we are really interested in bringing that as a topic for our conference. We had great attendance, as you can see, 158 registrants, 24% were virtual attendees, 4 keynotes and 12 concurrent sessions, 59 presenters. So we had a very nice slate of presenters and the sponsors and exhibitors, which filled a lane, very interesting tables. it was really a joy to co-chair with Tyler. And of course, I'm very grateful to Mary and everyone in the committee who participated in the meetings, offered feedback, offered ideas, and great discussion. It was such a good experience. And it was wonderful to see everyone in person and having people come to me and said, this is a very good conference. So we are very grateful and very pleased. Thanks again, Mary, for your leadership. You pull us all together, and I really appreciate how you do that poster hall and virtual poster session. Thank you, Mary.
It was wonderful.
It was the weather was just perfect for us. We couldn't have asked for a better time there. Thanks.
Thank you. I wanted to talk a little bit about our Racial Health Equity Project, which is generously supported by funding from Blue Cross Blue Shield. You can see here our deliverables. There's a number of things that are in progress for us. We have work groups in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health and our partners at the local Public Health Association that we've been working with on many of these things. We've been doing trainings. We just had a training yesterday, and there's more to come. We're still working on having the governor declare racism a public health crisis. And we recently shared a survey, which is still open, but we want to share kind of some of the initial findings that we found from that survey, which was asking folks to identify in their particular communities what they feel are the top 3 racial health inequities. So you can see on this graph, access to health is the top one. And then transportation, housing, food, and security are kind of in that next group. So I think, you know, for me and many of us, this resonates with our understanding of the contributors to health and well-being for people, that it is structural, that it is also, you know, racism, trust, the things that are present everywhere that need to be addressed. We also asked participants to share some of the organizations that they feel are working to eliminate health inequities in their community. And you can see some of those listed there. That's really helpful for us as we identify our next steps and the ways that we want to be collaborative, supportive, and uplifting partners in our community. One of the other survey questions that we wanted to highlight was asking folks the degree to which or how they felt white supremacy, you know, created, sustained, and, you know, contributed to the inequities they feel in their communities. And you can see this quote down here that we thought really illuminated that. And so I'll just read that. White supremacy builds these inequities and holds them in place. It can be especially difficult to explore and support policy solutions when you need decision makers to support equity, and my screen cut off, so look at my phone, initiatives. And so this survey is still open. And even when the survey's done, we welcome always thoughts, ideas, you know, encouragement, questions from folks to help us become better and more committed and stronger in our work on this. Finally, I just wanted to shout out a couple partners of ours that have already been mentioned that we've really worked in close partnership with this past year and a number of wonderful things. Minnesota Sophie is a longstanding partner with us. We again worked with them to get the governor to declare the first week of April Public Health Week in Minnesota. And they also worked with us on our conference. We will be continuing events and work together in the future. So thank you, Minnesota Sophie. And then going back to what both Matt and Erica mentioned, working with Healthy Democracy for Healthy People on work to raise awareness and advocate for the role of voter engagement and access in health itself. And so we have some examples of some of those documents there. All right, it has been quite a year. And I am very chatty, but like I said, I'm really excited about the awards. So I'm going to pass it over now to Cherylee Sherry, who's going to lead us through our awards ceremony.
Great. Thank you, Ellen. And actually, Ellen was saying that the awards ceremony is her most favorite part of these business meetings, but it's also very interesting to hear and reflect back on what we've have done this past year. So both are really, really exciting. Again, my name is Cherylee Sherry, and I'm very happy to be here this afternoon to present to you the MPHA 2023 Public Health Leadership Awards. And again, this is our favorite part of the business meeting, honoring those who have contributed so much to our field. And each year, the leadership committee, which is co-chaired by Ann Zukoski and myself, Ann was unable to make it today, but the committee sends out a call to our membership to nominate leaders in our field to be recognized. And this year, we are happy to share, we received a record number of nominations. So it was very highly competitive. Nominations are reviewed and then a slate is presented to the MPHA Governing Council for approval. This year, we are very pleased to present all 7 awards that we have. And one of the most special parts of the ceremony is that either the person or people who nominate the awardee do make the introduction and presentation. And I really find that to be so touching. So if the awardees have their award, we ask you to hold them up for a screenshot if possible after making your remarks. So again, please mute your lines, find some Kleenex, Ellen, and let's start the show here. So now I want to introduce the first award. It's the Albert Justice Chesley Award, which honors an individual who has distinguished themselves in the field of public health and who have, through their membership, made a definite contribution to the Minnesota Public Health Association. So now I'm going to call on Erica Fishman to introduce our awardee.
Thanks, Cherylee. I'm pleased to be able to present this award to Matt Flory on behalf of those that nominated him: Melanie Peterson Hickey, Michelle Brazier, Carrie Eldfield, Natalie Schmidt, Erica Fishman, and Jaime Martinez. Matt's a longtime member of MPHA. As we talked about, he's currently co-chair of the Policy and Advocacy Committee, and he's a past president of MPHA. He was president in 2018, and that was actually when I met Matt, and we did a fair amount of work together, and then partnered up at APHA as he got to go in his role as president. I'm going to first talk a little bit about his contributions to public health and then to MPHA. Matt's worked for the Minnesota chapter of the American Cancer Society for more than 22 years. He's had various roles there and is currently the Associate Director of State Partnerships and is responsible for increasing cancer prevention and screening through strategic collaboration with the Minnesota Department of Health, the Minnesota Health Plans, and quality improvement organizations. He's a consumer member of the Minnesota and Reporting Committee of Minnesota Community Measurement, one of the organizations he also partners with. He initially started in government relations, where he worked to engage ACS volunteers to support public policies through grassroots contact with elected officials. Even after he changed jobs, he continued to engage with his own elected city officials, prompting public health policies in tobacco and physical activity. Matt also served on the core planning team for Minnesota Comprehensive Cancer Control Program. He helped write the first state cancer plan and was a founding member of the Minnesota Cancer Alliance. He's put together numerous and planned numerous cancer summits, engaging multiple organizations throughout the state. And when the Cancer Alliance had mini grants, he served as a partner in projects for organizations that he helped make aware of the grants, and then worked with them putting the organization first. Additionally, Matt's worked on a number of projects around colorectal cancer prevention. He initiated and coordinated multi-colorectal cancer roundtables for many years and developed the March for Blue for Colorectal Cancer media campaign that started in Minnesota, and worked with the Colon Coalition, and he's brought many of his efforts to a national level. In terms of MPHA, when he was president, he strongly supported the work of the Health Equity Committee and worked to incorporate health equity into an entire organization. Matt was willing to have some of those difficult conversations that are needed if we want to move MPHA to a more anti-racist organization, and he was willing to take actions to make this happen. He's demonstrated steadfast leadership in building partnerships between MPHA and especially local public health association. Under his leadership, the executive committees met together and created joint plans for the work. He's also included LPHA in various MPH events like policy forums and annual conference, and he contributes regularly to LPHA's legislative platform through his advocacy work. As co-chair of the policy committee, he frequently invites guest speakers to share their organization's legislative priorities and other MPHA members, and seeks ways to engage them in their work. Matt's worked diligently to forge connections among organizations, approaches public health policy initiatives through a health equity lens to combat structural racism and advance health equity. Matt has given significantly amount of his time to strengthen MPHA as an organization and is truly deserving of this award. So I'll pass it over to Matt.
Well, thank you for all the kind words, Erica. Really appreciate the time I've spent with this organization, with the people in this organization. I think it's everybody here, not just on the call today, but active on our committees that make it such a great place to be, and truly honored for the recognition and excited to see what MPHA does next. So happy to be a part of it. Thank you, everybody, for your recognition today.
Do you have the award to hold up for a picture, Matt?
I know Matt had to run, and so maybe he didn't, yeah, so we'll get it later from him.
Can you see me?
Oh, now we do.
Can you do it quick?
Sure. Oh, you disappeared, Matt. Just keep talking so I can see you.
Oh,
Unless,
do I
Ellen,
need to
unless
speak
you
so that
can-
maybe I need to, should I just hum a note?
Yeah. Great.
Get it?
Got it. Yep.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. So the next award is the Paul and Sheila Wellstone Public Health Achievement Award, which honors an individual who has distinguished themselves in public health through an outstanding contribution to promote and protect the health of individuals, families, and the community, and leadership as demonstrated by the impact of on others' careers, or having made a contribution that reflects innovation, creativity, or a courageous pioneering effort, consistent with professional excellence and public service. So next, I'm going to ask Sarah Otten if you could present our awardee.
Yeah, thank you so much for offering me this opportunity to speak today about Carissa's work in food security. I'm a planning and evaluation analyst for Ramsey County, and I have been fortunate to work alongside Carissa for about 2 years now. And her dedication to the issue of food security and promoting equity for the residents of Ramsey County is so evident in everything that she does. Her contributions to public health really exemplify the spirit of this Paul and Sheila Wellstone Health Achievement Award because of her commitment to elevating the voices of our most marginalized community members and to working to ensure that all our residents have equitable access to healthy food. In 2021, Carissa was named Ramsey County's Food Security Coordinator, which I believe is a unique position within Minnesota counties. In this role, she's been a dedicated leader to promoting food security for the residents of Ramsey County focusing on equity and inclusion for those who are historically disengaged from the system, and educating decision makers about food security challenges and how they relate to equity in our community. One of her first steps as the food security coordinator was to commission a food security needs assessment to identify the gaps in food security and determine what role the county can play to address them and to reach our residents in greatest need. This needs assessment was an inclusive process by design that built on extensive community engagement that Carissa invested significant time and resources to ensure it would include the voices of those who are frequently excluded from formal data collection activities. This process required multiple iterations to identify a successful approach, and Carissa's commitment to equity was the driving force and inspiration for this effort. Carissa also worked with the county's GIS map maker to develop a series of maps that demonstrate a direct link between urban St. Paul's food security rates and the city's history of redlining. Although redlining was banned in 1968, its legacy can be still clearly seen in the food insecurity rates for the historically African-American neighborhoods that are located in St. Paul's urban core. Carissa really worked to highlight this historic inequity and show how it links to food insecurity rates, which are more than double the national average in these areas. And I am not alone in my respect for Carissa's work. This nomination was actually made jointly by me and our Deputy County Manager for the Health and Wellness Service Team, Kathy Hedin. Kathy was not able to be with us today, but she asked me to share a few words on her behalf about how much she values Carissa's work. She said, "I'm honored to work alongside Carissa Dillon. I view Ms. Dillon as one of our state's top experts on food security, and we're lucky to have her as an expert in Ramsey County. Her leadership on the statewide Health Improvement Partnership Grant brought community to the table to ensure food security was a top priority for the St. Paul Ramsey County Public Health Department. From the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, when everything shut down, Carissa was hand-selected by our county leadership to lead the food security COVID-19 response, including by a longtime former county manager who had come back to lead some incident management team operations work. Carissa partnered with Ramsey County Commissioner Rafael Ortega, with well-known food security leaders in our community like Metric and Melvin Giles, and with organizational leaders to ensure that our community had food during one of our toughest moments in our recent history. On Tuesday, our county manager, Ryan O'Connor, and the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners celebrated Carissa for her work and your recognition of her for this award. I look forward to Carissa's continued success, and I am so glad that she was chosen for this prestigious award. And I would also like to say thank you to the Minnesota Public Health Association for all of your work and for recognizing Carissa's work with this award. And I'm going to pass it off to Carissa.
Thank you so much for those kind words. I feel really honored to be the recipient of the Paula and Sheila Wellstone Public Health Achievement Award. It's very prestigious and it's special. And thank you so much for my colleagues who nominated me, and of course the MPHA Leadership Committee for this election. I look at the long line of those who have received this award, and to be honest, it scares me a lot. There's some really big names on it, some really well-known people who have done remarkable things for the state, and it gives me a pause. It makes me reflect and think about my own ability, momentum, and passion, and the pathway to move public health work forward. So in response to those names and reputations, I will work hard to make sure I can live up to the award, and I'm up for the challenge. I know Paula Wellstone is well known for saying, "We all do better when we all do better." And this has been my foundation and motivation for pushing this type of public health work. In my position at Ramsey County, I've been able to develop expertise and passion for being a public servant. Thank you. I feel privileged. I was in the right place at the right time. And during the pandemic, things changed and food insecurity was talked about. Articles were published about it, and the quiet epidemic was finally highlighted. The light was shining on this systemic issue. It's always been there. It was just hanging in the back of the room. My colleagues, leaders, and others have allowed me to continue to push forward and elevate this issue with a focus on racial equity, community engagement, and the intersections of health and well-being, especially when it has to do with pushing government to do better. There's so much stigma and shame around food insecurity, and I cannot stress it enough that we must all come together to make changes to address this issue. We see people that are unstably housed, but hunger and food insecurity tends to stay hidden. And my hope is that government, local organizations, and other passionate community members can work together better through funding, energy, dedication, and focus to address this social determinant of health. I cannot thank my colleagues, Sarah, Kathy, everyone from Ramsey County, my friends and family enough for their support for this work. And I'm very, very honored to receive this award. It's definitely given me more energy to keep driving forward. I really appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much.
Carissa, do you happen to have your award with you?
I do.
Can I take a screenshot?
Here, and should I take off the blur?
Yeah.
Let's see here. You still can't see it. Let me see if I can find something dark to put behind it. No, can you see it?
Yeah, we'll go with this. Just a sec here. Great, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So our next award is the Laura Waterman Whitstock Racial Justice and Health Equity Award, which honors a person or team who has demonstrated their commitment to advancing racial justice and health equity for American Indian, African American, Black, Latinx, Chicano, Latino, or Latina, Asian American, and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander communities, as well as individuals that are low income, LGBTQ+, immigrants, and those with disabilities. So now I'm going to ask Jaime Martinez to introduce our awardee.
Thank you, Cherylee. Just to give you a little warning, in case I seem to be choking up, it's in this presentation, I'll say it's the current smoky climate here in Minnesota, because it's quite hazy out there. First of all, I wanted to highlight the nominators and those folks for Morgan Mulhern, Coco Villaluz, Austin Wu, Laura Hamasaka, who's an international public health consultant, Erica Fishman, Dr. Melanie Peterson-Hickey, and myself. And we, I'm modifying this presentation a little bit, not to take more time, to stay within the realm, but I wanted to also ask, when I call her Morgan Mulhern, to say a few words, because I really felt like I represent a certain generation of folks that have worked in public health many years, and Morgan is a younger public health professional, and she's also been exposed to Vijayang, and I wanted her to say a few words from her perspective as a young public health person. So for Vijayang, I love Vijayang. I've known him for, gosh, over 15 years. And those of us who know Vijayang are so grateful to have him as a professional colleague and as a friend. He has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to racial justice and health equity through his 20 years of career in public health. And Vijayang leads in a very diplomatic way, in a very engaging way, his whole work to advance racial and health equity in policies, structural governments of health, and his philosophy and action focus on integrating racial and health equity into governance, cross sectors, issues, and cultural communities. It's been very successful and been very important for us, for some of us to also witness, to see how we can do some of this work. On a personal note, I want to say that Vijayang, from a very early age, was told that he was his ancestors' dream. And I want to say that many of us who come from some of these cultural communities have experienced the same thing, and we were our parents and our grandparents and our ancestors' dreams, that we should be part of the fabric of society and to improve society for our community. So Bijan, with this sort of grounding, has been on an incredible journey as a racial justice champion. And he does this everywhere in all his interactions in the community. He currently leads advocacy for Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Minnesota to advance racial and health equity. And through his work, he applies a racial and health equity lens into all the sectors that he is involved with. And he utilizes cross-cultural power and racial equity analysis into advocacy approaches, media engagement, and structural solutions. In his position with the state's largest health plan, he sees that Minnesota consistently ranks as one of the top states in health, education, and many other quality of life indicators. Yet also, like many of us, see that we have some of the worst racial inequities in the country. So he believes that equity is about how we design powerful, inclusive tables, not just individual seats. And he works to see health equity criteria and policies and management and the change in institutional behavior and outcomes. Bijan works at growing cross-cultural alliances, empower with different groups of people for racial and health equity. And I've seen that, I've witnessed that. I've worked with him through various leadership institutes. He's a Bush Fellow. He's an amazing and very diplomatic individual who I hope to see, who I see as a hero. And I think a lot of young people in Minnesota from priority populations see them as well. And I suspect that Bijan will be running for governor someday in the state. So that was my perspective. Now I'm going to ask Morgan to say a few words about her experience with Bijan as she was exposed to him as a young professional and somebody who worked with him through a leadership development project with MPHA. Morgan, can you say a few words?
Yeah, I haven't seen you in some time, Bajong, but it's so nice to see you here to celebrate you and all that you've done for MPHA and our community. So thank you. I met Bajong about 2 years ago, but you are a huge inspiration. I think Bajong has been able to put things that I have felt as an early career professional into words in a way that I don't think many people can. I remember when he was first talking about the real and perceived tension of population health and health equity in public health. And the way he spoke about it, I feel like I still am not able to put it into the words that he's able to, and with such eloquence and fully capturing all of the nuance with that. And I also know he supported who Shiroz is on, part of our leadership program that we ran last year. He was talking about advocacy, and I remember him saying, if you're not at the table, you're on the plate. And there's certain phrases that he says that have stuck with me and are ways that just help to keep me inspired as a public health professional. So thank you, Bajong. And thank you for all of you. I'm happy to see you all again.
Congratulations, Bijan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaime and Morgan. I'm usually not easily affected by praise or criticism, for better or worse. I tend to feel like I know myself best, but I'm fully receiving the nurturing and positive energy today. I'm trying to do a better job of taking in that great energy. So thank you. I want to thank MPHA for this award and congratulate all the other awardees. It's an honor to be named with such a powerful and dynamic cohort of leaders. And I want to thank all the people in their lives too, because like me, I'm sure that their success is a result of their families, their friends, their support group. And Jaime, thank you for teeing up the importance of ancestry. I I am definitely a person with fortitude and strong will, but I am not self-made at all. I'm very much ancestor made. I'm movement made. I'm made from all the contributions and supported influence of everyone on this cause as well. So I want to acknowledge that this individual recognition really is attached to a collective and cumulative effort over generations. And so I simply take this as my turn to carry the baton and to be the bridge. I also want to just express humility and honor for being named after such a powerful leader, Laura Waterman Woodstock, somebody who really changed the American Indian movement, really challenged not only about how we tell stories and how a narrative is defined, but who the storytellers are, right? And that so much about racial justice and health equity isn't just about a policy or systems change, but it's about the people, the process. And I mean, special tribute to you. You know, I think so much of my career has been focused on structural change, and I've been accused of becoming very callous and not trying to change hearts and minds and just trying to go after kind of the big systems change. And one epiphany I think you help offer me is the importance of racial and intersectional equity in community organizing, in coalition building. And so that you can change all these powerful policy levers, but it's about the people you do it with and how you do it with, and making sure that this work is truly cross-cultural, intersectional. And so I wanted to pay homage to you there. I know we're out of time. I just, my last thing I'll just say is that my gratitude for this award for this cause is only surpassed by my discontent and continued disturbance around the racial and health inequities, certainly in the state, but in the world we live in. And so while I'm going to take rest, I'm going to have joy in resistance, I'm going to take care of myself, I am still honestly very, very much discontent and have a lot of angst that I need to work out. And I hope I can work out with all of you in this struggle together. So thank you so much, MPHA. Thank you for recognizing the cause, the priority of racial justice and health equity. It's an honor to be named. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have your word?
I do. Let's see here. Can you see it? There might be a glare, but I don't know if it's backwards on your screen, but
yeah, well, we'll see here. Got it. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And just a little reminder for folks, just read through the chats as well, because there's lots of kudos for everybody. So thank you. Okay, so next we have the B. Robert Lewis Award, which is presented to an elected official who has distinguished themselves in aggressive pursuit to establish and maintain health and as a human right, and to secure optimal community and personal health. So I'm going to turn it over to Antonia Wilcoxon to present the award.
Thank you, Cherylee. The B. Robert Lewis Award is presented annually to an elected official who has distinguished themselves in aggressive pursuit to establish and maintain health as a human right. This pursuit, the struggle to establish and maintain health as a human right, has manifested in a very material and alarming way for the LGBTQ community in Minneapolis and the US over the last year, with the United States have seen record increases in the number of bills targeting the ability of LGBTQ people, particularly transgender people, to receive the health care they need, remain with their families and communities, and participate fully in public life without fear of violence or discrimination. In light of this hostility, the importance of having principled, proactive, and steadfast champions for health in office cannot be overstated. As a representative for District 66A in the Minnesota House of Representatives, the recipient for this award, Ms. Lee Fenke, has made possible some incredible policy wins in the realm of health equity and health as a human right. Representative Fenke advocates for public health in all areas of policy, including efforts to secure reproductive rights, expand voting rights, and increase funding for mental health in our schools. Her most notable legislative initiatives included the Transgender Refuge Bill and a statewide ban on conversion therapy for children and vulnerable adults have made a substantial contribution to the health, safety, and autonomy of LGBTQ Minnesotans and their families, as well as the health, safety, and autonomy of newcomers to our state fleeing repression in other parts of the country. If you've ever felt gratitude for Minnesota's status as one of the most LGBTQ-friendly states in the nation, celebrated the achievement of this year's historic legislative session, or casually boasted about Minnesota to friends or family in other states, chances are that you have Representative Fenke to thank at least partially for your ability to do so. Representative Fenke's work and her visibility as a transgender legislator has sent a clear message to LGBTQ Minnesotans that we belong in this state and that someone will fight for us, our health, and our families. Unfortunately, for those with marginalized identities, visibility can come with a cost. Representative Fenke has faced wave after wave of hateful and outright threatening behavior from Minnesotans who take offense to the proposition that transgender people have the right to exist, let alone achieve optimal health. Representative Fenke has continued to work under these conditions with extraordinary grace and resilience, a feat that is neither easy nor expected of most state legislators. While it is clear that Representative Fenke has no shortage of talent, principle, and fortitude for overcoming these challenges, it is vital that she is not left to deal with them alone. For this reason, Representative Fenke, I hope that this award serves not only as a recognition of your achievements and a token of our appreciation for your work, but also as a tangible reminder of the support you have from the public health community in this state. We thank you for bringing our values to fruition and look forward to a continued partnership in advancing the health of all Minnesotans.
So if Representative Fenke can come on.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So first of all, thank you so much for that incredible introduction, Antonia. That was just very moving. Yes, so I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Antonia, everyone on the call, and everyone at Minnesota Public Health Association. I am an activist, a movement activist at heart. I didn't run for office for awards, but this is a hard and weird job, and I'm very grateful for this recognition. I'm deeply moved to be listed among the many incredible past winners, including last year, Council President Andrea Jenkins. It's great to follow the leaders who have come before me. Now, I spent this morning with Rox Anderson, one of my heroes, a longtime leader in the work for community and personal health, especially for queer and trans folks. And I know I wouldn't be here succeeding at the work that I'm doing without people like Andrea and without people like Rox. So it's so important to me to recognize that all of the success that I'm finding in my life right now, it's really built upon these giants who have come before me. And then this morning when I was with Rox, I told them that I was getting an award for my aggressive pursuit to establish and maintain health as a human right. And Rox kind of interrupted me and said, I'm really glad they're giving it to you for being aggressive, for doing it aggressively. And, you know, I appreciated that. And when I read the description of this award, it did really feel like the right words, right? Like the aggressive pursuit of this work, because this is no time to be passive in our fight for LGBTQ+ community rights and community health. We all know what the stakes are for trans and queer people in the United States right now. And as long as I am in the Capitol, I promise to keep up the aggressive pursuit of these goals. As was mentioned, I was the lead author on the Trans Refuge Bill, protecting the rights of people outside of Minnesota to come and receive that care. But we have a lot more to do there. And I have the Gender Affirming Rights Act, which we'll be doing next year, hopefully. We have to continue this work. This year I carried a bill to increase state funding for HIV prevention and treatments. And we're going to be back next year. I'm going to be asking for even more money in that work. This goes down the line, every element of reproductive justice, whether it's foster, whether it's abortion care, whether it's in vitro for LGBTQ communities, substance use disorders and treatments, disability access. And we need to do all of these things down the line, and we need to make sure we're doing all of them with a lens towards racial justice and economic inequity. Providing healthcare options that people can't access is the same as not providing those options at all. So I'm really grateful to be here, to be among these winners, to be mentioned in the same categories as these people who you are honoring today. It's truly an honor. Health is a human right, and I promise to continue to aggressively pursue it together. So thank you very much.
Great, and thank you. And do you have your award with you?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so our next award is the Harvey G. Rogers Environmental Health Leadership Award, which honors an individual who through the years of dedication, distinguished service, and technical contribution has promoted the public's health through preservation of the environment. I'm going to call on Ann Kukowski to present the award.
Thanks, Sherry. I've been fortunate to have known Kathy Norleen since my first day in environmental health 25 years ago when she let me in the door, through today when we work together with the asthma program. Several of us, Ann Zukoski, who is actually my boss despite the similarity in name, Dan Trantner and myself were involved in nominating Kathy, and I'm honored to be the one who gets to introduce her as she receives the Harvey G. Rogers Award. Kathy's public health career spanned 30 years, and she spent that time working in areas of health risk from air toxics, emergency planning and preparedness, compliance and rule writing, and asthma. In each of these areas, her work has focused on protecting us through preserving the quality of the air we breathe. Kathy began her career as a teacher. A tour in the Peace Corps took her to Liberia, where she taught math and science. Her experience assisting in vaccination campaigns in Liberia led her to her interest in public health. She joined the health department in 1993 as a part of OSHA to write Minnesota's asbestos abatement rules for schools. Subsequently, she led the effort to establish the 2002 health risk values, which are the state's first guidance for concentrations of chemicals likely to pose little or no risk to human health. Kathy's work in environmental health helped improve air quality in areas ranging from childcare centers to ice and motorsports arenas and pesticide applicators. She also helped evaluate compliance and develop policies for indoor smoking regulations. In 2010, she joined the Asthma and Occupational Health Programs and managed a HUD grant to reduce triggers of asthma in homes of children living in Section 8 multifamily housing. Currently, she advises the asthma program regarding environmental triggers, works to implement considerations for asthma into the Department of Commerce weatherization program, and is working with the occupational health program at MDH to try to protect cosmetologists from chemical exposures at work. Wherever you live in Minnesota and in many common venues, including daycare, schools, entertainment venues, and even the outdoors, Kathy has played a role in keeping the air you breathe safe. So with that, I will introduce Kathy Norleen.
Thank you very much. It is such an honor to receive the Harvey Rogers Award, especially when it's for technical contributions, because environmental health has sort of been my life. And I want to thank Anne for the beautiful nomination, and the Minnesota Public Health Association and the Leadership Committee for presenting me with this award. It really means a whole lot. And then a second note of thanks would go to my husband, John, and my family, who have been supportive and patient with me along this journey, trying to strike a right balance between work life and home. So as Anne introduced, I've been fortunate to be put on a lot of great, interesting projects, including working at feedlots at one time or another. When we went through the health risk value rule for contaminants emitted to air, it was primarily for point sources. You look out your window today, and I think there's still a lot more work to do, and it'll go beyond my 30 years. But it's not point sources, it's area sources, and it's climate change, and just it continues, and we continue to need to have thoughtful messaging for the public around protection from environmental contaminants. While I've been thinking about this, I've been going through files because we're moving out of Golden Rule building. And so it's given me a chance to think about the wonderful collaborations that I've been able to have during my work life. And those collaborations mean a whole lot to me. And it's kind of funny because there are new platforms, new ways of working, yet it's a learning curve to take up those platforms. And I was laughing, Anne mentioned I let her in one of the first days of her work. Well, back that time, the key card was that was a new thing, because you could get in and it was locked behind you or whatever. For a while, they didn't know how to really work that. There was not the personal touch. So people would come to the door and you knew you were fired or let go if your key card didn't work. That's not a good practice. Luckily, my key card continued to work, and we've gone beyond having the key card lock you out. But like I said, I've been fortunate to work with so many wonderful people on Minnesota Public Health Association. I almost said Pollution Control Agency because I'm thinking of the outdoors right now. And once again, thanks so much for this award. I know somebody once said, individually, we are a drop, together we are an ocean. And I'd like to transfer that to air. Individually, we are one molecule, but together we are the atmosphere that supports life. So we will continue this work. And thank you so much. It means a whole lot to me. And I know you want my
Kathleen,
my award.
you don't have your camera on. Could you put, there you go.
I did. I clicked it on and then it clicked back off.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. That's okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Great. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so next, we have the Dr. Harold Hal Lepink Scholarship, which is awarded to an early career professional working for local public health located in Greater Minnesota. And I just want to say, we just heard from Kathleen, but when she was in her leadership with Minnesota Public Health Association, she helped to shepherd this scholarship to ensure its existence. So we want to thank you for that, Kathleen, as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Rebecca Foss, and if you could introduce our awardee.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Becky Foss, and I'm the Director of Pine County Health and Human Services. It's a pleasure to be here today. And even bigger than that is just my absolute pleasure, and it was my privilege to nominate Sam for this award. Sam Lowe is the Pine County Public Health Director, and she's been with us since June of 2018. And for me personally, it feels like she's been here for way longer than that because she's had a tremendous impact on our agency, and I have enjoyed every moment working alongside her. Her impact on community health and well-being has been life-altering for many. Along with other community members and leaders, I am incredibly grateful to Sam for all her contributions to community health and well-being, and she is very deserving of this award. Much of the work in the local public health field over the last 3 years has been dedicated to the pandemic response. And so Sam and her team not only met that challenge, but they crushed it. They facilitated and organized a calm and methodical response to our local pandemic plan. And she and her team emerged from the pandemic as community health leaders and advocates for employee well-being. In the last 2 years, Sam has specifically implemented employee wellness strategies for her public health team. She took these strategies along with the data supporting its impact to the entire Health and Human Services organization and to several other outside organizations. Our entire conversations in our organization have shifted from how do we prevent burnout and what do we do when burnout happens to how do we actively support employee well-being? This is a monumental cognitive and conversational shift, which has positively impacted the entire department. These changes and strategies were implemented at a time when community health leaders and workers were leaving the field en masse. With Sam's strategic and authentic vision, she has led the way to and through difficult community health and well-being conversations, while retaining nearly all of our public health staff members, which is just amazing. Our county organization and the community are blessed to have Sam Lowe as our public health director. Thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, I was very excited to get this award, and I had absolutely no warning. Then walked into a meeting with a leader, and he was like, "Oh, congrats!" And I'm like, "What?" So it was very fun to get this. And the thing I really enjoy about this particular award is the fun intersection between the early career professional, which I do wonder at which point do I become not an early career professional? Like at some point it'll happen. But then, and the rural intersection, because they both play hand in hand in my favorite thing, which is being really innovative and trying new things. Because when you're new, you don't know any better. So you just try things, because the whole this is how we've always done things. Well, I don't know how we did it before, so let's try it this way. Is always very fun. And then when you work in rural health, it's a scrappy bunch of people who just, we're gonna figure it out because that's the only option we got. So sometimes out of necessity, you're gonna be creative. And then working in local public health, I love our friends at MDH, but local is the best. And it's a very fun place to be, and I really enjoy it. And I'm really proud of all the things that we've done in Pine County. Before COVID, we were doing a few things for like the 2 seconds I was here before COVID started. And then COVID was COVID, as we all know. But coming out of it's been very, very exciting, because we were a really new-ish department. Like, our staff were generally pretty new. None of us were super adamant of, we got to return to how we used to do things, because that was the way we did it. We were all really open to, let's try new things and see how it goes. So we've gotten to try a lot of really fun, exciting things, and our staff have really embraced it and grown and had a lot of fun along the way. So, pilot is also my favorite word. So if anybody wants to take a leaf out of our book in Pine County, just start a pilot and it'll go great. So I just invite everybody to join us in the rural, newer folks mentality of giving yourself permission to try some new things, because it can be very fun. And it's not that scary. So thank you again, Becky, for nominating me, and for everybody else in the group. So, and I do have.
Wonderful. All right, just a sec here. Okay, got it. And thank you for all your advice and encouragement for local public health and in the rural communities. So great. So thank you. Okay, our last award is the MPHA Student Achievement Award, which is presented to a student enrolled in a master's degree program at a Minnesota School of Public Health, or a student enrolled in a master's degree program at the Minnesota School of Nursing with a concentration in public health, who has demonstrated leadership skills in the contribution to the promotion of the health of individuals, families, and the community. And I'm going to turn it over to Ellen.
Hi, everyone. I am so honored and excited to introduce the Minnesota Public Health Association 2023 Student Achievement Award winner, Cherylee. There are many people here that have worked with her and could speak to her, so I really am honored that I'm the person who gets to do it. First off, get your reaction buttons ready, because Cherylee recently graduated with her MPH in Public Health Administration and Policy, which is a tremendous accomplishment in itself. In the time that I've known her, I've become pretty certain of the fact that Cherylee can do anything and everything that she dedicates herself to. She is just an amazing person. With MPHA, she was a student representative on our governing council. She was a member of our leadership development cohort, and she has been kind of involved in all sorts of things. She was a leader on events like a 2-part series on homelessness that we did last year, and she was an essential part of this year's annual conference. Cherylee is always learning, and her passion and focus is driven by what she observes, she experienced, she hears, what she knows as part of a community in relationship with other people. Keenly aware of barriers that many face in accessing healthcare and education, and committed to health equity work, Cherylee has also been a researcher, working with the Rural Health Research Center and the Center for Anti-Racism Research for Health Equity. Like I said, she's done a lot of things. She's developed a diabetes curriculum for community health workers to use, and she worked with Representative Her on a bill to disaggregate data on Asian communities in Minnesota. Anything and everything, all important work. Cherylee will now be moving to an administrative fellowship with Kaiser Permanente, but I have it on good authority. She may like to move back to Minnesota, and she may be interested in running for the legislature. So if we speak that out, it'll come to fruition in the future. I will be Team Cherylee forever. I want to wish her all of the congratulations, best wishes in the future. And I'm just so thrilled to know you and that you have this award. I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Ellen. I'm gonna like start crying. That wasn't part of the plan. But thank you so much for that warm introduction. I'd like to start by thanking everyone, the MPHA leaders, along with my friends and family who are on the call, and also congratulations to all the other awardees as well. So like Ellen mentioned, my name is Cherylee. I just graduated my Master of Public Health. I'm just beginning my career as a public health professional. So this just means a lot to me. As Ellen mentioned, I joined MPHA in the fall of 2021 as a student representative for the governing council. Honestly, I was new to Minnesota. I'm an out-of-state student. I'm from Chicago. I was just trying to find a home. I was just trying to find somewhere to kind of belong and try to start my public health journey. And honestly, MPHA became a home away from home. Everyone has just been so welcoming. Just to name a few, Mary, just thank you so much for your unwavering support, kindness, and leadership throughout my time in MPHA. Ellen, I still remember our first conversation on Zoom and how welcoming you were, how compassionate you were, and just you became a role model of mine so quickly. And so just to have you introduce me just feels very full circle for me right now. And then finally, Morgan, I know you're here. Morgan actually was when I realized when I met you that I can have public health colleagues, but I can also have my public health friends. We became friends right away from our conversations on Zoom as we were planning the conference last year. And I'm just so grateful for you and just how supportive you've been throughout my public health education. And so I just really want to thank my parents too. I'm a child of immigrants. And so this just feels super weird to me. They were so amazed and they actually cried when they saw the award. So for me, it's not even just about me, but it's about my parents and kind of the struggles they've been through and kind of what this represents for them. And so again, I have loved my time in MPHA and hope to continue to be part of the community, even as I move to California, to continue to work on racial and health equity work. This is a great motivation and reminder that lots of work is more to be needed. And so I'm still learning and growing. And so it means so much to just be part of this organization. I will say MPHA has turned me into a lifelong Minnesotan. So congratulations on that. And so thank you again. And congratulations to everyone.
Sure. And could you hold it up and we'll get a quick shot and wonderful. Got it. Okay, so let's give everyone a round of applause. This was just really great. Congratulations to all of our awardees. And I also want to thank everyone who had made this presentation possible. I would also like to remind people, everyone, to think about deserving public health leaders in our field and plan to nominate them for next year's awards. So thank you. Let's see here. And I'll do the final slide. So for upcoming events, what we've got is that the Community Health Worker Hub is, there's a webinar, it disappeared on me. Okay, June 15th from 12 to 1, and June 15th is tomorrow. So if you haven't registered, you can go on the MPHA website. The Health Equity Committee meeting with the Governor Office representatives is also tomorrow from 5:30 to 7:30. And again, you can get more information and the link on our website for the Health Equity Committee meeting. Community Organization Spotlight, so Touchstone for Mental Health. And this is June 20th from 12 to 1. And then lastly, we've got lots of activities. Climate trends in the Great Lakes communities. So this is it's a regional meeting, and I am just going to move it so I can see. Thank you. The Great Lakes Public Health Coalition webinar. And this is June 27th from 1 to 2:30. So these are the events, and now I'm not seeing the next. Okay. So again, consider being a member. The membership application is on our website, mpha.net. And also there are different leadership positions for committee, co-chairs, etc., that would be open. So if you're interested in getting a little bit more involved and just kind of testing things out, if you don't want that leadership role, then just consider becoming a committee member. So this, I'm going to pass it on to Ellen to conclude the ceremony, and it's all yours, Ellen.
Thank you all. Cherylee wasn't joking when she was like, Ellen might need tissues. Oh gosh, I have been so thankful and honored to be the MPHA president this past year. I will shout out Kathy, who was the person who kind of talked me into it. I was like, people like who are like commissioners with MPHA president. I'm too young. I'm too, whatever. But thank you, Kathy. I just continue to be so inspired, impressed, and thankful to be part of a community where we're all bringing our talents, our passions, our questions, our pushing of each other to our work. And I'm excited for what is to come. Thank you all for spending your time with us, and have a good rest of the day. And I'll clap my hands for audible applause for all the award winners. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.